Some people are not chosen for comfort, they are chosen for pressure. If your life has felt heavier than most, if you've been forced to grow up inwardly while others stayed asleep, this is not random. There are marks that don't appear on the skin, but on the soul, and those who carry them are shaped, not spared. What follows is not superstition. It is pattern. It is character. It is how those who live in alignment with higher order behave when life tests them. These are 4 signs you are marked by God, not for ease, but for strength. Sign 1. You are given burdens before you are given comfort. If you are marked for something greater, life rarely begins by being gentle with you. It begins by testing you. While others were allowed to drift, to be protected, to mature slowly, we were handed weight early. Responsibility found us before confidence did. Loss introduced itself before certainty. Pain arrived before explanation, and for a long time it felt unfair, almost personal. But this is the first mark. Those who are meant to grow strong are not shaped in comfort. They are shaped in pressure. The ancient thinkers understood this deeply. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that difficulty is not an interruption of life's plan, it is the plan. He argued that adversity is the training ground where character is revealed, not destroyed. A mind that has never been tested, he warned, remains unfit for real freedom. We notice this pattern when we look back. The moments that hardened us were not random accidents, they were structured challenges. Each burden forced us inward, each hardship demanded discipline, restraint and endurance, and slowly, without applause, something formed inside us that could not be easily shaken. This is why those marked often feel older than their age, not physically, but internally. We've carried thoughts others never had to confront. We've sat with silence when others escaped it. We've learned to regulate our emotions because no one else would do it for us. Modern Stoic researchers like Donald Robertson point out that emotional resilience is not inherited. It is conditioned through exposure to controlled hardship. This aligns with the ancient view. The soul strengthens the same way the body does, through resistance. That is why life didn't remove obstacles from our path. It placed them directly in front of us. And notice something else. Despite the weight, we survived. Not because we were lucky, but because we adapted. We learned to choose response over reaction. We learned to endure without becoming bitter. We learned to carry pain without broadcasting it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what stands in the way becomes the way. For those marked, obstacles are not detours, they are initiations. This is also why comfort often feels unfamiliar to us. When things are calm, we don't fully relax. We stay alert, we stay prepared, not because we are broken, but because our nervous system was trained for responsibility, not ease. And this training has a purpose. Those who can carry weight without collapsing become anchors for others. Those who can endure chaos without losing themselves become leaders, whether they seek the role or not. The burden was never meant to crush us. It was meant to increase our capacity. Sign 2. You feel separate, even when you are not alone. One of the quietest signs that a higher force is shaping us is this. We often feel different, even when surrounded by people. Not superior, not disconnected out of arrogance, but inwardly separate. We can sit in a room full of voices and still feel as though we are standing slightly apart from the noise. Conversations feel shallow faster than they used to. Crowds drain us. Approval no longer excites us the way it once did, and yet we are not antisocial. We simply feel misaligned. This separation is not a flaw, it is a signal. The ancient Stoics understood this inner distance well. Marcus Aurelius wrote repeatedly about standing apart from the madness of the crowd, not by physically leaving society, but by refusing to let the collective chaos enter the mind. To live among people, yet not live like them, was the highest form of discipline. Those marked for a greater path often experience this early. While others chase status, validation, and noise, we feel an almost uncomfortable pull toward quiet, reflection, and inner order. It's not that we hate the world, it's that we see through it. And this creates loneliness. But not the kind that comes from being unwanted. The kind that comes from outgrowing certain frequencies. Modern Stoic scholars like Massimo Pigliucci explain that wisdom naturally creates distance, not emotional coldness, but clarity. When your values change, your environment must either adapt or fall away. This is not punishment, it is alignment. We notice that our tolerance for drama decreases. We no longer react to provocation the way others expect us to. Gossip feels heavy. Complaints feel repetitive. Emotional outbursts feel unproductive. So we listen more. We speak less. We observe. This is not withdrawal, it is refinement. Epictetus taught that most people live externally, enslaved by opinion, approval, and impulse. The moment a person turns inward and begins governing their reactions, they automatically step outside the crowd. That step feels isolating at first, but it is the beginning of freedom. And here is the deeper truth. Separation is preparation. Those who are meant to influence, guide, or stabilize others cannot be fully absorbed by the emotional weather of the group. We must learn to stand steady while others sway. We must learn to think clearly while others react blindly. That is why life slowly pulls us away from certain people, habits, and environments. Not abruptly, but gradually. The laughter fades. The invitations slow down. The old connections no longer fit. And for a while it hurts. But then something else happens. The silence sharpens us. The solitude strengthens us. The distance teaches us discernment. We stop needing to explain ourselves. We stop proving. We stop performing. And in that stillness, we discover something rare. Inner independence. Seneca wrote that the wise man is content with himself, not because he rejects others, but because he is no longer dependent on them for identity. That self-sufficiency is not arrogance, it is armor. So if you feel separate, even when surrounded, do not rush to fix it. This is not disconnection. This is elevation. We are being trained to stand alone so we can later stand for something, and this too is a mark. Sign 3. Pain has refined you, not broken you. There is a certain kind of strength that cannot be learned from books, mentors, or comfort. It is forged only in pressure. If you look back at your life and realize that your hardest seasons did not make you bitter, but sharper, this is not coincidence. It is one of the clearest signs that a higher order has been shaping you through resistance. Most people collapse under pain. Some grow resentful, others harden into cruelty. But a rare few are refined. We know this because we feel it. The wounds we carry did not turn us reckless, they turned us deliberate. We became quieter, not louder, more controlled, not explosive, more observant, not reactive. Where others demand sympathy, we learned restraint. Where others blame fate, we learned responsibility. This transformation is not natural, it is trained. Marcus Aurelius described adversity as fuel for the rational mind. He did not see hardship as an interruption to life, but as life's most effective teacher. The impediment to action advances action, he wrote. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not poetic optimism. It is disciplined perception. Those marked for something greater experience suffering early and often. Loss, betrayal, humiliation, isolation. Each arrives not to destroy us, but to strip away illusion. We learn quickly that comfort is unreliable, people are changeable, and control is limited. And instead of despairing, we adapt. Epictetus, once enslaved and physically injured, taught that pain reveals the quality of a person's inner governance. External damage cannot corrupt a well-ordered mind unless it is permitted. This idea is brutal, but freeing. It teaches us that suffering is not the enemy. Unexamined emotion is. So, we learn to pause. When anger rises, we question it. When fear appears, we observe it. When grief enters, we allow it, but do not let it rule. Over time, this discipline creates something unmistakable: emotional gravity. People sense it. Our presence feels grounded. We do not flinch easily. We do not overreact. We carry pain without leaking it onto others. Modern Stoic thinkers point out that resilience is not emotional numbness, it is emotional mastery. We still feel deeply, but we no longer drown in what we feel. We have learned the difference between experiencing pain and becoming it. And this is why our suffering feels purposeful in hindsight. Each trial trained us in patience. Each disappointment sharpened our judgment. Each loss forced us inward, where strength is built. The pain did not leave us hollow, it left us precise. We speak more carefully, we choose more selectively, we move more intentionally. And perhaps the most telling sign of all, we do not wish our pain on others, but we would not erase it either, because we know who we were before it and who we became because of it. Seneca wrote that fire tests gold and misfortune tests the brave. Not everyone who suffers becomes strong, but everyone who becomes strong has suffered. So if life tried to break you and failed, if your scars taught you clarity instead of cruelty, if your hardship deepened your discipline rather than your despair, then understand this: you were not punished, you were prepared, and preparation always precedes purpose. Sign 4. You are called to walk alone, and you can bear it. One of the most misunderstood signs of being marked for something greater is isolation. Not loneliness born of rejection, but distance born of direction. If your path has repeatedly pulled you away from crowds, away from shallow bonds, away from constant noise, this is not a flaw in you. It is a signal. Most people are terrified of being alone because silence forces confrontation with thoughts, with fears, with truth. But some are trained for it. We recognize this pattern in our own lives. Friendships fall away without drama. Circles shrink. Conversations feel repetitive. Social spaces begin to feel heavy, not energizing. And instead of panic, something unexpected appears. Calm. Not always comfort, but clarity. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius spent much of his life surrounded by people, yet mentally alone. He warned that the crowd often pulls the soul downward, not upward. Wisdom, he believed, requires distance from constant opinion, not because others are wrong, but because most are unexamined. Those marked for a higher purpose are often separated early, not to punish them, but to protect their formation. Epictetus taught that a person who depends on external validation is enslaved by it. Freedom begins when we can stand without applause. This is why solitude becomes a training ground. Alone, there is no image to maintain, no role to perform, only discipline or the lack of it. And this is where the difference reveals itself. Some people collapse in isolation, others distract themselves endlessly. But we learn to use it. We refine our thinking. We observe our impulses. We build inner order. This does not mean we hate people. It means we no longer need constant proximity to feel whole. Our self-worth is no longer negotiated socially. We choose connection consciously instead of compulsively. Modern Stoic researchers point out that voluntary solitude strengthens emotional regulation and long-term thinking. When the mind is not constantly stimulated, it regains authority over itself. This is why people who can endure solitude often see further, plan deeper, and react less. And people sense this. There is a quiet gravity about someone who does not chase attention, a steadiness in someone who does not fear being unseen. We don't announce our values, we live them. We don't argue constantly. We observe. We don't rush to belong. We wait to align. Seneca warned that crowds dilute character. To remain oneself in the noise of the world is rare. To willingly step away from it is rarer still. So if your life keeps placing you in seasons of distance, if your growth seems to require separation, if you have learned to sit with yourself without escaping, this is not abandonment, it is preparation. Those marked for something greater are often shaped in quiet places, because leadership of the self must come before influence over others. And influence without inner order is destruction. You are learning to stand without leaning, to think without echo, to exist without approval. And that is not weakness. That is strength being forged where few are willing to remain. Get early access to videos, members-only content, and a direct path to strengthen your mind, spirit, and discipline. Click the join button now and step into a world of inner growth and unstoppable motivation. If this video resonated with you and sparked something deep inside, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to strengthen your mind and fortitude. Join our growing community of thinkers, warriors, and seekers striving to master themselves and rise above destructive emotions.